Today we're going to get into a couple of keywords in Mantis Boxing. One is connect and one is cling. Contact, cling, you'll hear in Tai Chi Chuan. The manuals that you read, they usually translate this keyword as join or to join. Connect is a good way to look at it. You look at this Velcro here. If I take this, connecting is right here when we go like this. That's making contact, that's connecting. The next one we do, the next keyword is sticking. That's right here. When we try to pull this, it's sticking, it's not coming apart. So we're going to stick to our opponent. You can't stick to your opponent without first connecting to your opponent. So we're going to have these two back to back. If you think about, take a big wad of chewing gum and then put that through your mouth and work that until it's nice and sticky. And then you throw it against the wall. And the minute it hits the wall, that's connect. And when you go over and you go to pull that gum off and it stretches out like this, that's sticking. So we're going to have these two back to back. And when we talk about connecting, what we're trying to do is find ways to attach to our opponent or slow a limb down so that we can get a hold of it. So you'll see some examples of that, snapping the arm in and out. And I'm looking for a way to slow it down so I can actually stick and close in and then get to the hooks and the grapple. So when we're just striking, if I were a traditional Western boxer, my punch comes out and then I snap it back. I'm not staying. I'm not leaving it out there, and I obviously don't want to leave it out there because if I leave it out there, I can get counterpunched. So when we talk about contact or connect, to join is the process of connecting to my opponent. So if I strike, instead of coming back right away, let's say I'll use the hook punch as a good example, instead of coming back right away, I stay out there and I connect to her arms and I turn this into cling, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So as I punch, my punch comes out and then I stay with it. So I make that connection here. If I punch here, I stay connected as I advance with an elbow. If I flip this around and I use it as a block, then the principle would be in reverse. If she punches me with a forward punch and I just bring my hand back right away, then there's no clinging afterwards. So I made a quick connection, but I broke it. So instead, when she punches, if she throws that and I block, I stay there and now I can follow it in. Instead of bringing my hand back here, which is fine, I block the punch, I connect and follow it in. If she throws the hook punch and I block that, I can just bring my hand back. Or I can connect and follow it in. So I'm joining. Go ahead. One of the other ways of looking at this is we want to slow the limb down. So if I just throw a punch out here, she wants to get her arm back right away to block again, to return to guard. If she throws that hook punch at me, then she's going to pull that arm back again because she knows she's open there. So if she throws that, for example, and I slide down for chopping fist. So she cuts in, she wants to throw the hook and snap the arm back. So think about slowing the limb down. So as she comes out and I throw my block, I'm immediately connecting and attaching, and that's going to put a delay in. If you look at it off of this punch, as she throws the forward punch, if I just bring my hand back, she brings her hand back. And it's very quick. Now, if I want to slow that down so she can't get it back, I attach, I connect. And that way, now this gets a delay. Even if she rips it back, she's behind now. And you can do this with a grab. So if you think of grab, that's another way of connecting. If she's got her guard position and I'm out here, I could come in and just grab the limbs. That's another way of making contact. Once I have that contact, then I'm going to stay in connection and go to cling. So once we make that connection, then we're talking about cling, like it was two stick and now we have to stay sticky. So whenever we get into a grapple position, an easy way to think about this is if you're standing in front of somebody and we're talking about striking, this is not a very good position to be in. It's basically like somebody with 8 limbs. She's got her fists here, she's got her elbows, so she can punch me. Go ahead, throw like just some elbows. She's got knees, she's got her feet. So I'm dealing with a lot of stuff going on here. So the sticking is important because now what happens is if you look at like the mantis, they have all these hooks on their arms to help hold. Well, if you think of it as you're staying in connection and you actually can become sensitive to what your opponent's going to do before it happens. So if she, for example, if my hand is here and she throws an elbow over there, then I'm behind. I don't feel that coming, so all of a sudden that slips in, and then I get hit, and I'm behind. If I'm connected to her over here, whether, let's say my hand's on the outside, if she rolls that elbow, now I can feel her moving that arm, and I can follow. If my arm's even on the inside like this and she throws the elbow, again, I can move and adjust. So I'm sticking as a way of adding another sense, if you will. So go ahead, move. So once we get in here, notice I'm attaching to her arm now. I don't just leave my arm here, because now she can do whatever she wants. She can elbow me, she could uppercut me. She can come over the top over there, and I'm behind this whole process. If I stay attached to this limb, whether I'm grabbing, it can just be touching. So I'll just do this so you can see. My hand's here, now she has to move somewhere. And I can stay ahead and keep up. And there's some insight into the Mantis Boxing principles of connect and cling. Working inside the grapple, blocking, striking. You can play with this and add it to your game. See how it functions in there. Feel free to leave your questions, comments down below the video and hit that subscribe button to get hooked.